Hi, welcome for our RTL online trainings and placements. We are going for an assignment which includes procurement as well as account payables. We would like to raise the invoice based on the purchase order. So maybe once you join in the company, they may give this assignment. Let's complete this cycle is required for us to know how to create invoice based on the PO. So the assignment is very simple. Hire employee, configure employee as buyer, create supplier, and then go for create purchase order for the supplier and create invoice. Create invoice for the purchase order, then create accounting entries for invoice, transfer accounting entries GL, view entries in GL module. So it's in combination of procurement, payables, and general ledger. Almost we can say that is procure to pay cycle. We have to run this. Okay, so it's an assignment. Maybe they can assign to us, or when we are working in the project, obviously we are supposed to test purchase order invoices, and we are supposed to deliver this for our client. Okay, so in that scenario, let me take up an instance here. We are going for new buyer and new supplier. First, we are going to hire employee. We are going to hire employee first. We can do it hiring either from finance or from procurement, not a problem in FSM environment. Manage user task. We are going ahead with a built-in legal entity, US1 legal entity, and we are going ahead with US1 business unit. Let's go for save and close. So we are hiring an employee called Mahesh Babu, and username is Mahesh. He's working for a legal employer called US1 business unit. Sorry, US1 legal entity, and business unit is US1 business unit. In case if username is exist, we can link with user account here. If user account is there, you might have created user account from security console. So if we want to link that user account with this employee, it can be done. Now we want to make this employee as a buyer. If you are buyer, then only you can go with the supplier sites. Otherwise, you cannot, right? So buyer means which task? Procurement agent. Procurement agent task. Go to procurement agents. Which business unit you are going to be a buyer? US1 business unit. What is your name, employee name Mahesh Babu, and default requisitioning business unit. Here we have to verify whether you have the permission, whether this buyer is having permission to create purchase orders or not. Yes, we have. Do you want to access other business, other buyers documents also? Yes, I want to access other buyers purchase orders also. Then how about supplier creation? Yes, I would like to create supplier. So we got permission to create supplier, to create purchase orders. Go for save and close. Buyer is ready. Let me go for add this supplier role. So now we want to create supplier first. If we want to create supplier, we have to assign the supplier role. Before that, go to procurement, go to suppliers, select all tasks, verify any approvals are enabled for the supplier creation. Okay. Go to the task here. Approval management. I'm sorry, it's not supplier. Go to approval management. All tasks. Spend authorization approvals. Because we are creating now spend authorized supplier. Approvals are enabled, but check the rule. It's automatic approval. It's automatic approval. So no need to worry about it. Next. Internal supplier profile change. Means any modifications we have done for the existing supplier. It's showing that anyway, the present one is approval, it is required, one rule, but that rule is disabled. It's not used. Another rule is defined that was automatic. So no need to worry about it. So now everything is fine. Let's assign the supplier role to buyer so that he will create supplier. Let's go to security console environment, buyer. Let me reset password for this buyer. Add role here. Supplier manager. If we want to add a basic role, employee role, we can add. It's fine. Now, Mr. Mahesh is a buyer and he got the access to create supplier. So let me log in with Mahesh and create supplier. Supplier, everybody can create, but supplier site can be created only buyers. First, we'll check the role is updated or not. Go to navigator, procurement, suppliers. Yes. Procurement, suppliers. Sometimes we need to wait a couple of minutes. Still, it's not populated as we are working in Vision instance. General, when we are working with client instances, there won't be any issue like this. Okay. So if we are facing the same issue again, so we have to cross check what is the problem with the role. If required, we will associate the data access. Let me log in with implementation user. Go to FSM environment. Provide data access to the task. Manage data access for users. Which user? Mahesh. Which role? Supplier manager. We can find here list of roles which are assigned for user, and I'm assigning business unit. Which business unit we would like to access? US1 business unit. Let me go for LDAP process. Go to initial users and run this user and submit. We provided data access for user. Just log out from the current user and log in as buyer. Now we got. So generally, it will be built-in privileges, but this time I think there is some issue with the role. Someone might have customized. So in that case, just go for add the data access means business unit. Now we are able to access supplier page. Create supplier. I'm going ahead with the supplier name as Sony. Supplier. Spend authorized supplier. Tax organization type corporation. We got supplier number and other details. Let's go to address, supplier address. This address I'm using for address rate. For ordering the goods as well as sending the RFQs and as well as bidding. If I want to use it for remittance purpose also, we can use it. So let's enable check boxes here. After completion of this, go to Sites tab. When I go to Sites tab, it's showing that an address must exist before creating a site. Just now we created address, right? So what we have to do is just save this transaction and submit. As it is auto approval, so internal profile change request was submitted. Internal profile change request was submitted. It contains changes that required approval. Okay. Looks like it's auto approval, right? Let me cross check. Manage suppliers. Search with the supplier here. Now, when we go to supplier here, I can find this icon. A profile change request is pending for this supplier. Pending for this supplier here. Which means it's waiting for approval. Click search button. It's got success here. Now supplier is ready, supplier address is ready, and then go for create supplier site. So while creating the address, we enabled this address is for ordering remittance. Remittance is nothing but for deposit. Deposits can be done in this address. So it's like any third party relation or remittance purpose. And we can also have the negotiations, RFQ and bidding also. Okay, so let's go for sites here. Choose address. Perform site assignment. We configured supplier successfully, supplier site and associated with the business unit. This is how we perform supplier. Now we want to go for create purchase order. So we need to access PO module. Which role is required? Procurement manager. In PO, we have multiple roles for requisition, advanced procurement requester. For purchase order, for negotiations, we have category manager. And for purchase order, we have procurement manager. Then for receipts, we have receiving agent. Like that, multiple roles we have in procurement module. We required right now purchase order creation, right? Go to users. Which user? Mahesh. Mahesh is buyer. Let me assign the role procurement manager so that he can raise purchase order, send it to supplier, select a role name procurement manager. Once role is assigned, then we have to assign data access. Data access for user. Select username, role name combination. Procurement manager. Which business unit you would like to access, means for which business unit you want to perform transactions. Data access. US1 business unit. Fine. So once data access is provided, we must run LDAP process. Now Mahesh is going to log in and create purchase order. Navigator, procurement, purchase orders. Go to purchase orders. Still it's not updated. They're still not populated. What's the reason? Still, the role is not. I think in this instance, there is some issue with the roles. Since it's not getting refreshed, let me cross check once again which role we assigned and how we did data access. Let's go to security console. Procurement manager. Okay. Maybe it takes some time. That's not. mm, I'm just checking data access. Okay. Let me check for my user what are the data accesses we have provided. Supplier manager we assign, procurement manager we assign. That's fine. Everything is perfect. Yes, it's got delayed. Nothing wrong from our end. So now this is purchase order functional area. This all we call it as infolets, which will give the information in shortcut in graphical format. Now I would like to create a purchase order here. Create order. For which business unit you are creating purchase order? US one. Who is the supplier? Sony. Just now we configured, right? Sony supplier. This is supplier site. We do not have any supplier contact here. And buyer Mahesh is the buyer, current employee, whoever is logged in. So purchase order is a document which we will prepare, approve, and send it to supplier, right? So based on this order, supplier will supply the goods to our company. We will have the information at 4 levels: header level, lines, schedules, nothing but shipment, distributions. Header level will specify the business unit, buyer name, shipping location, billing location, PO, amount, currency, approval status, and other terms and conditions, notes and attachments. We do it at header level. When we go for lines, we'll find the item and other quantity, price. And if you want to have the quantity in different locations, we'll specify at schedules, means shipments, and finally accounts generated at distributions. And distributions will find accounting information, and then we'll go ahead with approvals. So here header level, we got almost all the information here. Just we have to mention line level, what items we are going to order. What is the item name? These items will be configured in an inventory module. While configuring this item, we'll be specifying that it's a purchasable item and it can be purchased from either supplier or only from approved suppliers. This all setups we will do it from inventory item price and all we get default. So 5 items. Let's say I want to change the price, the location, and then go to schedules. Nothing but shipment. Promised delivery date is on 23rd. Supplier promised, but we need on 25th. But 2 days early, we are going to get the goods from supplier as per promised date from the supplier. Distributions means accounting information will be captured. Let's go for save this record. This is our purchase order number. This is our PO number. Let's validate purchase order. And go for submit. Before we submit for approval, we can cross check what is the approval rule is enabled for the current transaction. Showing that application development framework, it's auto approval. It's auto approval, so we can submit. Go for manage orders. Search for purchase order. Click search button. This is our PO. It's open. Open in the sense it's approved. It's approved, and I can see the cycle of this purchase order here. Now ordered, invoice not created. Invoice not created. Now we are going to create an invoice. So purchase order is created successfully and approved. Done. Now we are going to create invoice in account payables module. If I want to access account payables module, which role is required? Accounts payable roles, accounts payable manager, accounts payable specialist and supervisor. These roles we will assign to the employee. Let's go for assign this. Tools menu. Security console. Accounts payable manager. specialist, supervisor. So let's assign data access for user and role combination. Submit LDAP process, because we want to create an invoice in AP module. For this, we are going to use this are the roles. We'll submit. One or more requests are currently pending. Not an issue. Just go for cancel. Someone might have submitted this process. So even if someone submitted, no problem. It works for us. Let's go for navigator, payables, invoices. We have purchase order. For this, we want to create invoice here. For this, we want to create invoice here. Let's go to task list, create invoice. Here we'll specify the purchase order number, identifying the PO, click search button. This is our purchase order. Okay, so we can also capture the information from the line level. So what is our PO number? Go to purchase orders. So what is the amount? $1,000, right? Go for invoices. Create invoice here. You get automatically business unit, supplier, supplier site, everything. Now entering the invoice amount, $1,000. Somebody made description is mandatory field. Let's go for save this record. It's not validated. So what's the reason? Let's go for validate invoice. If there are any issues, we will be able to see that here. It's validated successfully. What is the invoice number? A1. Let's go for when we see the invoice status here, it's showing that invoice is validated and of course approvals are required. It's showing that it's mandate. We can go for force approval here. Let's go for force approval. Means manually we are going to approve it, and let's go for accounts creation and post to GL. Can view the accounting transactions. I would like to view these accounts in GL. It's been transferred to GL. I would like to view all these accounts in GL module. So if we want to view all these accounts in GL, then we will find here GL roles we have to assign. We have to assign GL roles. Which ledger? US primary ledger we are using, right? We can find here transaction accounts. So we created invoice, created accounting entries and transfer to GL. I would like to view these accounts in GL module. So this employee has got access for procurement payables. Now we are going to add GL roles, right? So let me add as an implementation user. Let me log in as implementation user and add GL roles. What's the role is required? General accountant and general accounting manager. Select the second one here, role code ORE underscore, because it will be refreshed. You will be able to access accounting manager ORE underscore GL. That's the second one. ORE underscore. Let's go for save and close. You have to provide data access here. Let's go to financials offerings. Provide data access for user. When we are working with the GL module, data access is ledger, right? A ledger or ledger set will be assigning. Select the username here. Provide LDAP process. It's okay. General accounting, journals. We are in US primary ledger. Perfect. And we are in this period. We transferred accounts from which source? Payables. And this is purchase invoice category. Click search button. Can also search with amount 1000. Purchase invoice. Not this one. Yes. Click on the amount, credit or debit, then the transaction will be displayed. This is our invoice now. So this is how we can perform the complete cycle, purchase order invoice. So when there is an assignment, first we have to note down the sequence of setups and transactions we have to perform, and then go ahead with one by one. And we must be very clear which roles are required. So this type of assignments we have to perform so that we'll come to know, okay, our subject is in our control. This is very important. Okay, it will improve our confidence level, saying that yes, I can do any setup and I can also rectify if there are any issues or something. Okay, thank you.